From the memory vaults of Terra. Knowledge is a gift to be shared with the world. Go forward and illuminate those who dwell in the darkness. Io, Prime Creator. This is the recollection of the Terra Saurian spiritual texts. There are no written works. However, this is passed on through sharing of memories and teachings of our ancestors. By bringing this to print, I sincerely hope that I may share this knowledge with other peoples both of Terra and beyond. Walk in the Light. Vault 1. The Cosmic Birth. In the vast expanse, gods and primordials dwelled together in eternities. Io, the Prime Creator, swelled with ideas as did the other gods. It was decided to illuminate the expanse with all gifts from each of the Eternals. With the help of the elder gods, Io instructed each to bring about beauty and light. Anu Enlil inhaled deeply and blew into the expanse, bringing the cosmic winds to carry the newly born treasures throughout. Enki tossed his covering to the winds and the sky was made. Jehudi placed his eye into the sky, which became the sun and illuminated all. Io was pleased. He raked his scales and tossed them into the sky, forming the planets. The heavenly bodies hung in the sky until Ra spun the sun with a wave of his hand and the heavenly bodies swirled about around it. Kulkukon brought the waters to the celestial orbs, its steam creating the clouds in the sky. Anunnaki twisted himself around each heavenly body and created the mountains with his coils, the caverns and troughs with his fangs. After all had labored intensely, Ishtish wiped her brow and flung her hand into the void. This scattering settled into the black as stars in the night sky. Enki took the stars and arranged them so that all would know of their deeds forever. Io looked to the primordials who had given nothing thus far. Why have you nothing to contribute to our great works? We have toiled and gave each of ourselves to creation. The primordials were jealous of the creation and shunned the light and the greatness of the existence. We have nothing and wish nothing for you. Release us of your demands, as we will not sacrifice our existence for your creation. Io was infuriated. The primordial Akkadian spake unto Io. We will rend this barren as it once was and always shall be. It spat venom into creation and it swirled around, choking the heavenly bodies, obscuring them from view and shrouding the light. The cosmic clouds swirled and twisted around. Io struck the primordial and the great war had begun. The gods and primordials fell unto Terra and smattered its surface. Io's blood soaked the ground and the water. Akkadian's blood fell to the mountains, filling them with minerals, metals, and gases. They burst with the pressure of it all and themselves blood, creating fire. Akkadian placed his hands upon the legs of Io and rent him in twain. Believing himself the victor, took the remaining primordials and returned to the expanse, darkening the sky. Anunnaki tore his wings and rose the Naga to blow away the miasma choking Terra and the other heavenly bodies. Forever bound to Terra, he would never ascend again. He laid upon Terra and wept. His cries drove him into the depths of madness. Anguish forced Anunnaki to tunnel into Terra and shedding his limbs against the boulders. Anunnaki tried to chase his tail in order to consume himself in his grief. Terra began to spin and shake with his movements. Many of the primordials had fallen. There were not enough left to blacken all the stars in the sky. Retreating into the expanse, they chased the stars in a futile attempt to hide the legacy of the elder gods. The elder gods surrounded Io's body. His life force seeped into the ground and the waters of Terra. Fishes jumped and grasses grew, and the first offspring of Terra emerged from the saturated soil. Io's rent body stood and became the twins Bahamut and Tiamat. Tiamat fled into the wilderness, and Bahamut called for the first prayer heard by the elder gods in thanking Io for all life. The offspring of Terra were scattered and wild. Io's passion had fueled their fervor, and they ran in all directions, some fighting amongst themselves and others taking refuge in caves, whilst others took to the skies and to the seas. Bahamut cried out unto the offspring to return. They did not heed his call, as he was not their sire. Bahamut instructed the elder gods to themselves scatter among Terra and to gather the offspring to instruct and organize them into groups, so that Io's sacrifice would not have been in vain. Tiamat had reached the end of Terra and looked out on the vast ocean ahead of her. She dipped herself into the waters of Abzu, swelling her womb with the life force therein. Retreating to a cavern, there she birthed her husband, Kingu, and his siblings Mummu, Lamu and Lahemu. Abzu grew angry with Kingu as he had usurped his position as life mate of Tiamat. Abzu attacked Kingu and his own offspring. Tiamat cried unto Enki to save her children. Upon hearing Tiamat's cries, he swiftly smote down Abzu, cracking his head open. The spilled blood turned the sea salty, his body crashing into the waters created the waves. Abzu's breath stirs the seas, swelling and retreating in his labored torpor. Tiamat thanked Enki and swore fealty unto him. Waiting for his departure, Tiamat removed the tablets of destiny from underneath her breasts. She was of Io and would be ruled by no being. Kingu, her husband, became envious of his bride and stole the tablets of destiny. He vowed to be king of the gods. Kingu left his bride to inform the elder gods of his decree and would return to put his bride upon the throne, where they would rule together in eternity. Enlil was the first to be met by Kingu. Kingu held the tablets of destiny aloft his head and stated that Enlil would honor him by praying to him and recognizing him as king of all gods. He slapped down Kingu and placed the tablets of destiny neath his tongue. Enlil crushed Kingu with his foot into Terra and in his rage sought out Tiamat. He found Tiamat nursing her children by the shore. He ripped the offspring away from her teats and beat Tiamat into submission. Blinded by rage, Enlil ripped her ribs from her body and created the vault of the sky. He flung her eyes to the north, which wept and created vast rivers. Enlil's rage did not go unnoticed by Tiamat's surviving offspring and thus fled. The death of their mother did not quench the desire for leadership. It was decided among the offspring that they would populate Terra with their own progeny, and was their divine right to do so. Lamu and Lahemu begot Anshar and Kishar, who begot unto Anu and Ki. The offspring of Anshar departed their home and settled into Sumer. There Anu and Ki procreated lesser gods. Unto sought the barons. Akkadian spake unto and led him to where he could attain the eyes of Tiamat. Lo, you have been cast out among your cleft, go into the twin waters and retrieve the eyes. Then you, the grandchild of the mother of all, shall see and know all.